The 2022 offseason has been one of the craziest we've seen in years, especially when it comes to the QB position. It felt like signal callers were pulling on new jerseys daily. So let's reset the QB landscape, shall we, and see how it might help shift the balance of power in the NFL.
I'm excited about it. I'm excited about the journey. And Broncos country, let's ride.
No QB move reverberated more than Russell Wilson being traded to Denver. The book on Danger Russ is fairly well known, loves to scramble, will take off occasionally, but that's not really his thing. He likes to buy time so he can take shots downfield.
The perfect throw by Russ! Touchdown, Seahawks!
30-plus TDs in 5 of his last 7 years, would have hit 30 last year had he not gotten hurt. 8 of his 10 seasons, his yards per completion over 12, never once under 11. For perspective, only 3 teams had a 12-plus yard per completion average last year. Broncos fans, get used to some sacks. It comes with the territory. Yes, Denver's line was ranked 13th by PFF last year, Seattle's 22nd. But Broncos QBs were sacked 40 times still. Wilson, he's been sacked 40-plus times in every year of his career but 2, his rookie season and 2021. Had he not been hurt, he would have kept his streak alive, too. He likes to buy time, so a better line doesn't always equal fewer sacks.
Oh, down he goes, crumbling right there under a huge avalanche of defenders.
He will change the look of Denver's offense, though. Behind Teddy Bridgewater and Drew Lock last year, the Broncos ran the ball more than they threw it. They were just 24th in pass attempts, and it resulted in just 211 yards passing per game. No way that should happen again. But know this as well. New head coach Nathaniel Hackett was in charge of an Aaron Rodgers, Davante Adams-led offense. Packers were 15th in pass attempts, 17th in rush attempts. So Javonte Williams will still play a big role in what they do. Still, time to see what the Orange really have in Jerry Jeudy, Tim Patrick, and Courtland Sutton. None of them eclipsed 800-plus yards last season. Jeudy missed 7 games, though. He's the one fans should expect to see the biggest uptick from. Deshaun Watson to the Browns, another scrambler who has taken a lot of sacks over the years. In his 3 full seasons, 62, 44, and 49. And the 49 came with Laramie Tunsil guarding his blind side.
Here they come again. Watson is going down.
When you don't get to him, same deal as Russ. He likes to take the deep shot. In 2020, he led the league in yards per completion and yards per attempt.
Watson and going deep. He's got a wide open Hopkins. That is 6.
He should also alter his new team's offensive philosophy. With Baker Mayfield running the show, it was a lot of running. The Browns were 28th in pass attempts, generating just 195 passing yards per game.
All kinds of bodies around him. He gets rid of it, and it's intercepted.
Cleveland ran the ball the 9th most times. So how far does the needle move? It wasn't just the lack of trust in Baker, it's having Nick Chubb, one of the best backs in football.
Chubb runs 30, 35, there he goes, 40, 45, 50. He's running to the river.
And remember, Kevin Stefanski was behind the wheel of a Minnesota offense featuring Kirk Cousins, Adam Thielen, Stephon Diggs, and Dalvin Cook. Their run-pass split that year, 4th most runs, 3rd fewest passing attempts. When Watson does heave it, look for Donovan Peoples-Jones on the other end. He had the 3rd highest yards per catch average in the NFL in 2021.
Peoples-Jones is out there. He's got it. 10-5 touchdown.
Of course, the pass catcher expected to see the most targets should be Amari Cooper. He too should see some bombs thrown his way. According to Next Gen Stats, since 2018, Cooper has the 7th most yards on vertical routes, 3rd highest yards per target, and 3rd highest yards per reception.
Looking for Cooper. He's got it inside the 20.
It's exciting. It's honestly, it's an adventure. It's quite the adventure.
Carson Wentz is back in the NFC East. He'll be the first Commanders QB ever, and he does represent an upgrade over Taylor Heineke. Wentz had 7 more TDs than Heineke in 2021, 8 fewer INTs, sacked fewer times, and at a lower rate.
He's got time, going deep downfield on the home run. Touchdown!
Washington's O-line was actually better than Indy's last year, too. But their line lost some key pieces, so it won't be the same. Also worth noting, Commanders fans, it doesn't appear Wentz will make your passing game more explosive per se. Wentz has a strong arm, but he's finished under 7 yards per attempt 3 straight years. Him and Heineke both finished at 6.9 an attempt in 2021.
Wentz throws, caught, Taylor, first down.
Washington did not make any big splashy free agent signings at wide receiver either, so Wentz will be working with a one-man show to some degree, which is the same kind of situation he was in last year with Michael Pittman Jr. Pittman Jr. had 129 targets, the next highest on the team, 69. Terry McLaurin had 130 targets, next highest, 62. Both receivers finished with 1,000 yards and some change, so it seems like it might set up more of the same.
It's sad to see it end, but I am so excited to see what can happen here.
What about the guy who replaced Wentz? Matt Ryan comes in off a 20 TD, 12 INT campaign. All his key numbers were down compared to previous years, all those stats worse than the ones Wentz put up, and he's 36.
Ryan in trouble, down he goes!
It was his O-line, right? Even if it did play a role, he may face similar heat with Indy. Pressure rate allowed last year, Colts 29th, Falcons 27th, so hard to assume Ryan will have more time than he was used to in 2021. And Ryan will have to adapt to handing off a lot more than he has in recent years. Colts have Jonathan Taylor. With him, they ran the ball 5th most.
There he goes! Jonathan Taylor!
Ryan hasn't had a back like Taylor maybe ever. Definitely not last year, which is why only 3 teams ran less than the Falcons. The hope then is Ryan gets the Frank Reich effect. Wentz rebounded under Reich's game plan, so maybe Ryan can too. But will the bump lead to better production than they got from Wentz based on where Ryan is at in his career? So what about Ryan's replacement? Marcus Mariota reunites with Arthur Smith. They were together when Tennessee drafted Mariota. Question is, how does Smith use him? In Mariota's second year, he did flash his promise, 26 TDs, just 9 picks. Healthy rating and yards per attempt.
Mariota, he's got the touchdown!
From there, it was all downhill, which is why he ended up on the Raiders. With the silver and black, he would get reps as a running QB in most cases, which makes sense because Mariota is blazing fast. Smith could try to unleash that speed the way the Ravens do with Lamar Jackson. If you saw Mariota in college, when he wasn't being told to stay in the pocket, you know it could work.
At the 30, the 20, 10, 5, touchdown, Mariota!
Mariota also has the same kind of weapon Lamar has in Mark Andrews. Kyle Pitts put up over 1,000 yards in his first year. And since the Falcons O-line has had trouble protecting its QBs, allowing Marcus to run and scramble could help negate some of those flaws.
And reaches for the pylon, touchdown Tennessee!
Similar situation can be found in Pittsburgh with Mitch Trubisky. Had that one good year as a passer in his sophomore campaign, made the Pro Bowl even. Trubisky also had a winning record in his last 3 seasons with the Bears. In that stretch, his TD to INT ratio 24-12, 17-10, and 16-8. And like Mariota, he can run. In fact, he looked best when he was on the move.
Trubisky with the touchdown run for Buffalo.
So why was he shown the door? There was a sense he didn't always read the field well enough, but with the firing of Matt Nagy, it's fair to wonder what role he had in Trubisky's development.
Oh, it's picked off on the play.
So this is a fresh start, and one that should require him to use his mobility because Pittsburgh's O-line is not one of the strongest. PFF ranked him 25th. They didn't allow a lot of sacks or pressures, but that was by design. Only one team had a lower yards per attempt than they did. Snap it and get rid of it as fast as you can. That was the philosophy.
Dangerous pass goes right on him.
Trubisky should be able to elude pressure and in turn, maybe resurrect his career a la someone like Ryan Tannehill.